Welcome to Talksicology, brought to you by Recovery Unplugged, the place where we talk about all things substance abuse, recovery, and mental health, with guests offering varying perspectives and viewpoints. Hosts Joseph Gordo and Jason Cabello share about their addiction and recovery and other serious subject matter through lighthearted yet candid conversation.
And we're live.
Welcome. Are we welcoming each other? Or are we welcoming the guests? The guests? There's no guests.
It's an all
viewers.
Viewers, yeah. Welcome everyone. Yeah. Me.
Yeah. You know, you walked in the studio singing a Stained song. Not very unlike you and your typical musical preferences.
Well, it's been a while.
It has.
Since we've recorded a podcast. So I just thought it was fitting.
Yeah. Also, Fred Durst. Fred Durst is on that track.
Is he?
On the live version, yeah.
R.I.P.
Yeah. Huh? He's still alive.
Oh.
Who do you think is dead?
I don't know.
No, Fred Durst, Limp Bizkit, they're like on a whole comeback thing right now.
That's what I meant.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
They're the new dad.
That's crazy.
Dude, all the new metal bands from like the late 90s, early 2000s are like on like 20-year anniversary tours and shit.
Yeah, my fiance Gabby, who is considerably younger than both of us.
Yes.
It was like, what? I looked up dad rock and it's like Interpol and all these bands. And I'm like, Jesus Christ.
Oh, no.
I mean, I guess it's, you're a dad of 3.
Yeah.
I'm not a dad, but everybody in my age group has like, I have friends with 30-year-old kids.
Yeah. No, I have friends with adult children as well, and it trips me out. I mean, Harper's getting ready to, he's driving already. I'm giving him lessons and stuff, but, he'll be 16 in December, which means he'll be legal to drive, and that's terrifying. Kid's taller than me.
Yeah.
So, I guess we got lots of updates since the last time. It's been what? How long has it actually been? Like 2 months, 3 months?
Was last one with Adam that we recorded?
Yeah.
Together?
Yeah, I think so. It was before I went to treatment. Dun, dun, dun. I don't even know what camera I'm looking at.
Yeah. Well, let's start with that.
I guess so. Yeah. So, toxicology land, Toxies viewers, whatever.
Talk screeners.
Yeah. I spent the entire month of April in a mental health facility. Yeah. No relapse, but definitely had a lot of other things that needed to be worked on. Depression, anxiety, codependence, trauma. What else do I got there?
Rage?
No, I'm not really an angry guy.
No? Okay.
Maybe internalized rage?
Internally, just bundle it up in a little ball kind of thing.
Yeah.
I forgot to turn my phone off. I think.
Oh, man, turn the phone off.
Yeah.
Oh, I feel rage.
Yeah, I can throw my fucking phone.
But yeah, so I went to treatment. And
congratulations. That's takes a lot, and I'm sure being a professional makes it a lot harder. Because I know, I spend a lot of time with you.
Yeah.
I know it's really hard for you to take the advice that you usually give so well.
Yeah.
To take it and internalize it. And but is that not the addict and alcoholic mindset? It's just like, I know it could work for you. Maybe that's why sponsorship works so well too. Because it's like, I know what you should be doing. I know what I could help you. Yeah. But fuck, I'm not gonna do that shit.
No. Well, you know what I keep thinking about? We could talk about the NEVA conference here in a bit, but like, we're at that conference and we were talking to those guys from I forget what they were from, but
we were just at a conference in Milwaukee, the National Independent Venue Association.
Shout out NEVA.
NEVA's great.
And we'll dig into that here in a bit. But like, someone was talking about this lady who like left to start a nonprofit to like give children heart transplants in Africa. And you and I both looked at each other and we were like, man, like I'm a fucking piece of shit.
Yeah.
And then the guy we were with was like, such addict responses, right? You hear about somebody doing something good and immediately you like compare it to yourself and spit out
and make the conversation about you. Yeah.
But yeah, it was absolutely terrifying to go to treatment, I think, some of that ego of like, I'm the person who helps people, not the one who gets help, kept me from going earlier,
Right.
which probably would have helped, avoid some challenges and consequences and all that kind of stuff. And yeah, I mean, there's that I think even within recovery, right, there's sometimes a stigma to like mental health or, being a person who has, some time under their belt. I don't know if it's a perceived expectation or if it's something that I imposed on myself, but this idea that like I have to be okay.
A lot of the old timers who I know will tell me that, being able to talk about mental health stuff in the recovery space, at least in like the 12-step recovery space, is something that's been newly accepted. It used to be called, that's what, when they talk about like outside issues, that's what they're talking about. It used to be sort of frowned upon, and it used to be like taking meds at one point. This was before my time, but it was kind of controversial within that world.
Well, listen, I love the 12 steps, right? I love AA, saved my life, set me up for everything good in my life.
Mm-hmm.
But I resisted meds for a long time because of things that I learned and picked up in early recovery, right? Like this idea that, like mental health stuff was kind of bullshit and you just needed to work the steps harder, So I, was very resistant to getting on a med. I had my doctor and my therapist told me at least twice each that I should get on a med.
Right.
And I refused to.
That's, so I've run across a couple of instances where I've been sponsoring people, and they would, I'm not going to say I'm trying to diagnose them, but they needed a little something more than I could offer.
Yeah.
And it's a very tricky thing to talk about, especially if you're trying to say like, have you talked to anybody else besides this? Are you just trying this? Because you don't want to. I don't know. It's kind of a weird thing to try to push somebody into saying like, you need mental health services at some point.
Yeah.
But it's that's an interesting thing that I never really thought about.
Yeah.
Like, because you can only self-identify as an addict or alcoholic as it pertains to being in the 12. Like I can't say, you're an alcoholic, you need help. You have to somewhat internalize it, but you can say it.
Yeah.
Is it the same with mental health? Is it like not a good thing to tell somebody that they need to?
I think it depends on the relationship you have, right? Because like I think for me, right, the first people that pointed out to me that like I wasn't myself, were the people closest to me, not the people at work, not the people in, my fellowship or anything like that, right? Because of my tendency to mask that everything is okay, right? So it's, I think, just like how we go to a sponsor and explain to them a situation and they like point out to us our part, right? They like hold up that mirror to show us like what's going on with us because I can't see it, right? I need this other person to reflect it back on me. I think, usually it starts with like loved ones, with family members that tell you like, hey, and I don't know, maybe it might even be a guy thing, because like I've, gotten very adept at stuffing my feelings, ignoring my feelings, to the point where I'm not the best at identifying my feelings.
Culturally too, that hits, right?
Oh yeah, 100%. I mean, right now, I'm still going through a pretty challenging time in my life. And, a lot of my family members are a little bit more old school, are still very like, you should be fine. Like, get over it. And it's not like that. They like, go to church. Go to church. You don't need meds. Go to church.
My dad, who was, from Mexico, who was also an addict, when he found out that I was an addict, he was just like, what the fuck are you like? Get your shit together.
Yeah.
But he's still an active addiction. He should, but he definitely, that was a struggle for him because he thought I should have learned from his mistakes.
Yeah.
And that was it.
Yeah.
Like that was bottom line. Like you should have learned, you see what I go through. Like, why would you want to do this to yourself?
Yeah. So, I mean, it's, I think the intersection of mental health and SUD, can be kind of challenging sometimes, right? There's a lot of stuff that we do in substance use treatment that, strictly mental health professionals, don't necessarily feel like is appropriate. And there's things that we look at the mental health side of things and we're like, you're doing it wrong, right? But But I think you combine that with like, wanting to maintain public persona, right? With concerns about my job, with concerns about my family, finances. There's so, at least for me, right? I don't want to speak, and like as a man, right? Saying like, hey, I need help, right? There's just, there was so many barriers to actually going to do it, but that it was, that saying about like, the pain of staying the same has to outweigh the pain of changing. Like it was very true in my situation.
What is it? We change at the speed of pain.
Yeah.
Is that how that goes?
I don't know, but if that's accurate, I should be really fucking different.
Yeah.
I should be.
Were you cured?
No.
So cured for the layman out there is something that we in the 12-step world will say, like if you're not doing meetings and you feel like you don't need it anymore and you're not working your steps, you're not going to meetings, you're not being observers, you're not doing anything.
Yeah.
You're not doing the things that helped you get to the place in life that you are today.
Yeah.
But were you, I know you weren't cured, but were you living the life of being cured because you were successful at work? Were you hitting meetings? Were you doing step work?
Every once in a while a meeting,
Yeah.
And I mean, honestly, in January, I like kind of picked it up and I was like, all right, step work, meetings, 1 meeting a week, right? Getting on my prayer, meditation and journaling and all that. But I think at that point it was like trying to put out a fire with a bucket. You know what I mean? It was
with no water in it.
Yeah. I wasn't doing the preventative maintenance. And so things just got out of hand. Right. So yeah, no, but I was definitely, I was acting, I like to say staying sober out of habit,
Yeah. And working in it. Such a pitfall. People who work in any sort of treatment or in treatment specifically, because I know so many people who very strong recovery and then they start working in treatment and then that becomes their recovery. And, they don't do the things. There's the, I guess it's a cliche that they say in the recovery world is that, I got to stop saying that. I've said that like 500 times already.
What, cliche or recovery world?
The recovery world, the 12-step world. But it's, it's the world that we live in. You'll lose anything that you put in front of your recovery.
100%. Yeah. And that's shit I used to say all the time.
Yeah.
Right.
And you probably still say it.
Yeah. Yeah. Or even like with clients, when they would finish residential treatment, I'd be like, hey, like this is the end of the beginning, or this is the beginning of the beginning. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like the work starts now. And I came out of treatment thinking, completely forgot that, right? Thought that I was just going to come out super, super healed and ready and whatever.
And it's, when you put together a decent life, which you have, in how many years is it now? Clean? Sober?
It'll be 17 years in 20 days.
And I mean, one of those lives that you couldn't imagine that you would have had when you were dope sick on the Greyhound bus, getting
shit in my pants,
shit in your pants, trying to get well, that, you have this career.
Yeah.
And then you get it, and then you kind of forget little things, and we don't lose that part of ourselves that needs the work.
Yeah.
Because I know I feel it. A couple months back, I was just like, fuck.
Yeah.
It's just fucking like, I was just always in my head. I think that's my thing, is that I'm always in my head.
Yeah. Same.
I'm always just not doing the work, worrying about the results, trying to fix shit before it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just trying to manipulate instead of just doing the work.
There's that line in the big book that in my home group, it kept on being brought up yesterday, but our little plans and designs, right, kept on coming up. Which is, little manipulative things, right? If I do X and Y, then Z will happen, and that's what I want to happen. So I will do this because of that.
Right.
No. Well, I mean, I think at the end of the day, a lot of that stuff is higher power stuff, right? Like thinking that like I created the life that I had, right? And that, my ideas are better than my higher powers, right? So like, I'm going to be in charge of this shit. And, God, higher power, spirit of the universe, whatever. Like you can go over there. I got it now.
Yeah. Thanks for the ride, Holmes.
Yeah. Appreciate you. But, I mean, things are still tough after treatment, but I think they're getting better. And, there's been some changes.
Well, now's where the work starts, right?
Yeah. I'm doing the work. Listen, folks, two therapists possibly getting a third in the next couple of weeks.
Okay, make it.
2 sponsors, 2 fellowships, 2 sets of step work. I'm on step 2 in one of them and step 4 in the other one. And yoga, meditation, journaling, wellness, prayer, all the stuff, So, it's okay to not be okay.
Yeah. We spent a lot of time together in the last couple months.
A lot. Yeah. I don't know how you're not sick of me yet.
I'm not sick of you.
I'd be so sick of myself.
Yeah.
I'm a fucking little mopey.
I'd let you. I don't hide that part of me well.
Yeah.
Like if I'm over someone, I'm just.
Yeah.
You'll know.
Well, I think you've seen like good days and bad days, and you can tell the difference at this point.
Seen good days and bad days. And I hope I'm at least supportive enough when you're having the bad days to be like, we need to fucking do something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't care. The last week you were like, you need to talk to your doctor about your meds.
Yes.
Yeah. And I did.
Thank you.
You mad?
And look at you now.
I mean, technically this med's not supposed to work for about 2 weeks, but we'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see how it goes.
So can I talk about your mania?
Do I have mania? All right, yeah. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it.
Because I mean, you're very easy person to read on your face. You don't hide when you're in your shit.
Yeah,
it's either complete. No, I wouldn't say complete. Like it's not. I mean, bipolar. I guess is or it's not. I don't think it's. I don't want to make a thing about that. But I've seen the pendulum and how far it could swing both ways. So there's times when just for no apparent reason, you're just in your shit. You know what I mean? Like place where you should be having a good time and, you should be enjoying yourself and you're just fucking not.
Yeah.
And then we went to that little marketplace in Milwaukee and you're like skanking around in such a good mood, like talking to everyone for no apparent reason, and it's just like, okay, I see.
Yeah.
It's interesting and, it's got to be, it's got to be tough to deal with.
Yeah. Well, I mean, so I just finished this book called Don't Believe Everything You Think. And one of my therapists told me to read it.
How was it?
It was good. It was a short read. It's by a guy named Joseph. So I was naturally inclined to listen to him.
Maybe you're related.
And, it wasn't anything groundbreaking, right? It was, kind of talking about mindfulness and Buddhism without talking about mindfulness and Buddhism, and that idea that like my thoughts are not me, right? Thoughts are a noun. They're a thing. Right? That is separate from me. And that my thinking is what I can control. Right? And I believe that when I'm better at not attaching to my thoughts, tends to be when I feel better.
And what do you do? What gets you out of your thoughts the fastest? So let's just say right now, you go home or you leave here and you're like, fuck, you just can't stop thinking. What is it? Exercise? Is it go to meditate? Is it hanging out with people?
I mean, yes, all of them, right? I think, a lot of it is like DBT skills stuff.
What's DBT?
DBT is dialectical behavioral therapy.
Break that down for me.
Yeah, I mean, I am not a DBT expert, right? People who do practice DBT in their therapy, it's a very intensive thing that requires group and like high level accountability. There's a lot of like emotional monitoring in DBT, but then there's a set of skills that you get taught, right? And a lot of them have, some of the DBT skills that have been beneficial for me is there's one where you hold ice in your hands, and it activates like your body's response of like if you were somewhere that's freezing cold, where it like decreases your heart rate and lowers your blood pressure in order to conserve energy. But like if you're having a ton of anxiety, that it helps do that. Right? Because your body thinks you're somewhere super cold, right? Dunking your face in water is a thing. Talking to people, it seems like, picking up the phone definitely can shift the day a little bit. What else?
Picking up the phone to call someone.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, not to scroll on Instagram or whatever, although.
It's a very lightweight workout.
Yeah. Working out, they, especially with DBT, they talk about intense activity. So they'll say like, if you're stuck in a thought, like sprint for 2 minutes.
That's good. I like that.
Yeah. Because it's changing your physical physiology, right? And our emotions, we really experience them in our nervous system, and we fuel them by what we're thinking, right? So yeah, there's all kinds of cool stuff.
Big help for me, and over the past couple of years, I've told you that I've really gotten into skipping rope.
Yes,
and
you are a skipping rope fiend
to the point where my if I do it too much, I can't do it for a while because I fuck up my shins will hurt, and because it started just I wanted to do it to I'm 50. I don't skate as much as I'd like to. I don't skate barely at all anymore.
Yeah.
And anything to speed up my warming up process when I go skating. Some of my favorite skateboarders, I see that they do jump rope too. Yeah. And then what I have found with my ADHD, it gives me that zone out place.
Yes.
To where I could just do an activity.
Yeah.
That's it burns 1,000 calories an hour.
Wow.
If you jump rope. Yeah. And I could do it for an hour and a half.
Yeah.
And if I get to that split, and it's I'd say 1 out of 10 times that I'll do it. I could get to that place where I'm just in the fucking zone. I'm just not thinking at all. Next thing I know, I've been doing it for that long. My legs are sore. I didn't even realize, but the clarity that it gives me afterwards, because it's been a huge part of my life.
Yeah. Well, one of the things they talk about in this book is that whole flow state thing, right? But he talks about our default setting is joy and curiosity, right? Little babies, their default is joy and curiosity. So
that's the Buddhism stuff.
And we all have that, right? But as we get older and, we develop ideas and, life impacts us and we develop, patterns and entrenched beliefs, right? We start to lose that ability to have joy and curiosity, right? Mm-hmm. And so, when we are able to get into that state, right, basically our thinking mind shuts off and we're just actually in the moment. And in the moment, things are typically okay. It's our resentments from the past and anxieties about the future that really make things not okay. Right. So anyway.
Okay. I feel a sneeze coming on. Talk.
I'm talking about Jason wanting to sneeze. Let's see if he does it. 1, 2, 3. Ooh, there we go. 2.
All right.
Got
that out of the way.
2. Bless you times 2.
Thank you.
Well, anyway, so there's been some changes. You and I have been hanging out a lot for a reason, right? So I'm no longer the executive director of Recovery Unplugged Austin. That's been handed off to 2 wonderful individuals who are doing a great job.
Great people, too.
Yeah, and I have moved over to work pretty much full-time with you, developing the Elsewhere program. Can we zoom in on the logo? No, that's not
zooms. There we go.
Anyway, so yeah, that's why we've been hanging out so much.
Welcome aboard.
Yeah, it's Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid.
Yeah, that'll work.
Yeah, Bonnie and Clyde.
Thelma and Louise.
I
like them all. But yeah, we've been getting out there and trying to help as many people as possible. I'm no good working by myself.
Yeah.
And I think we complement each other well.
Absolutely.
You're very business-minded, and I'm out there making the connections, bringing them in, and then it's been a lot of fun. We've got to go to LA for Dopeywood.
In the last month and a half, we did Nashville for Sober Sessions. Mm-hmm. We did LA for Dopeywood. Power Home Remodeling Group. Yeah, we got to do some work at their conference, which was awesome experience. Great people.
Company, yeah,
super. They care about their people.
They do, and that's why it's such an easy task to bring stuff. So, Power Home Remodeling is a
home remodeling
company, group
company. Yeah.
They have offices all over the U.S.
Yeah.
Many employees. And
they've got about 4,000.
It's a lot. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And they are very motivated to keep their workforce healthy, happy.
Yeah.
They want to retain they have a lot of talented people. They want to retain them as employees.
Yeah.
and they do a lot of seems like every month or every other month they have some sort of event.
Yeah, that's meant to develop culture and team, and also training, and keeping their people engaged and excited about what they do. And
we get to bring some recovery meetings, meditation
sound
bath.
We did a songwriting group for them.
Yeah, and it's it's great.
Yeah, no, I love it. I mean, I think it's for me, it's been really fun just getting to help people who aren't already immersed in this world,
and
right?
and aren't in like the treatment part of it. Maybe just a little bit curious, or maybe they have a couple of years under their belt, or whatever it is,
or maybe they're not in recovery at all, but they're just on a kind of a growth journey, right? And being able to like interact with those folks and feel like you made an impact, because I think sometimes we forget, right? Like, most people don't know even one heroin addict that got sober. And
that's crazy to think about.
Yeah, most people don't know a sober heroin addict, right? But, or a clean heroin addict. But we know so many that to us it becomes kind of like whatever, right? And, spirituality and prayer and meditation and, sound baths and all those things kind of, seem very normal in our world, but like the majority of people don't experience those. So them getting just a little bit of exposure to that kind of wellness that isn't necessarily centered around like a crisis like mental health or addiction, like for a lot of people it's just like, oh my God, it's impactful.
And the curiosity that I get too is I get a lot out of that. Like, I'll get somebody just coming up to me and be like, oh, there are people that do the recovery meetings here.
Yeah.
And then talk about like a loved one that they have. Like, I feel like this person might need help, but they might not. And then I get to just talk to somebody who's not in crisis mode, but wondering how to navigate what to do if they think somebody might have a problem.
100%.
And it's not to that point where they're like, calling the admissions line. We're trying to get someone help today. It's navigating the small steps and to do the things and how to be supportive of someone with which I get a lot out of too, because it's like just a wider net of being able to help people and being of service to people,
Yeah. I mean, that's it at the end of the day, right? Trying to help people.
Yeah.
And we had one person that came and said we did this thing called the Heart Room at the Power event, and that's we create a safe space with yoga mats and meditation cushions and
lots of plants,
432 megahertz healing frequency vibes, all that good stuff. And we had one gentleman come in. I don't think you were there when he came in, but he was like, so what do I do? And I was like, well, write down an intention. He's like, well, what's an intention? I was like, just write down what you want to get out of your time in this room. And he was like, oh, okay, cool. And I was like, all right, now go and take off your shoes, and you can sit or you can lay down. And he was like, and then what? It's like, and then you just breathe, and focus on your breathing. So he laid down. I was like, all right, just focus on your belly going up and down. Try not to think about anything else. Don't get distracted, and then just tell me how long you want to do it for. He was like, 10 minutes. And I was like, and it was really cool being able to, basically give someone like their first little mini meditation lesson, right?
That is pretty cool. Yeah. And so we started our first event with them was at the Quest event that we did last December
in Mexico.
And we talked about that on here. That was the one we did where like Post Malone played. They rent out a whole resort for
the entire resort.
Yeah, for all of their employees to come. And it's a festival. It's essentially a festival. And
with no merch booth. Well, they have their merch.
Yeah, and they just, they treat their people really well. Yeah. And it's so much fun too. It's like, and we get to be there for the handful of people who are in recovery and just be a resource. Yeah. Yeah, it's very, very fulfilling.
But so we did that, and then we were in Milwaukee for
NEVA
4 days, 5 days.
4 days
for the NEVA conference.
And the days just kind of.
We were both quite impressed with Milwaukee as a city.
Milwaukee was very impressive.
Yeah, Milwaukee's kind of great, y'all. It's kind of slept on.
It is,
but Milwaukee's a good time.
I love the Midwest. I'm from Chicago originally, so I got that Midwest, the love for the Midwest.
Yeah. But
I have a crazy fucking update since our last show.
Okay.
Adam David won The Voice.
Oh, shit. Yeah, he won The Voice. Yeah. We had the guy who won The Voice on our show. Got to hang out with Adam in L.A.
Yeah.
Right? And Nashville.
Was I managing Adam at the point when we did I think I just started. We were just talking about managing.
Yeah,
so
it wasn't like official yet.
I am. We were still kind of like, he's my manager? Like there was a question mark after, but
I think the idea of Jason receiving a bag had already been discussed.
The bag of cash. So I am full-time managing Adam David.
Yes.
I got to experience the win with him. I was out in LA for the win.
Can you tell that story about the camera guy?
Oh, yeah. So it was a whole thing. It was a whole thing. So we're there, Adam brings me out for the last, it was 2 weeks of the finals.
Yes.
So we go out, we get to see his performances, which I consider to be his winning performance, was the hard-fought Hallelujah, or hard-won Hallelujah.
Yeah.
Hallelujah.
I give my heart.
That's the one. You should go on, dude. Wait, do that again. Hold on, do that again.
I give my heart.
You just got a chair turn.
Hallelujah.
So I go out, I get to see that performance. I'm still not convinced that, he's gonna win, just because there was a lot of talent.
I mean, the people who make it to the finals, they've all got pipes.
And, the people win for different reasons, people vote for different reasons. The country guy was great. The pop performers were great. So I get to see all these people perform, and then I'm getting a little nervous, like, oh shit, like he's got it was definitely not like an easy fucking win.
Yeah.
Like there was everybody in the finals, so much talent. But then he did that song, and I was like, holy shit, like this is honestly like a fucking possibility
like
that he could win this.
Moment.
Yeah, a big goosebumps moment. So then I fly home. And then I fly back for the finals.
The final.
The finals, like the end two shows. And they get to elimination, right? So it was 12 people, and it was 4-4-4. So 4 people go home, 4 people go straight through, and then 4 people had to compete
for the save.
For the fifth save,
yes.
for the 5th person to compete in the finals. And he fucking crushed it, right?
Yeah.
Crushed it. And then the last night was the finale when they just do the announcements.
Yes.
And fucking nerves. It was so the tension, it was palatable.
Yeah.
And then, the 5 people are up there. They send 2 people home.
So it's down to 3.
Down to 3. And then they send one more. So then there's just 2 up there.
And Adam's still up there.
And there's a moment he looks off camera, and he looks at me, and he just goes, "What the fuck?" And I'm like, I don't know. And right after that happened, they come, because there's a little spot right in the front, like, because it's the front row.
Yeah.
Because it's like stadium
and
seating.
And
they save that. Yeah. So every time that he would perform, they would bring, or whoever's performing, they bring their people up to the front.
Yeah.
So right as that happens, they move the second place, the guy who winds up getting second place, they get his family up to move.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was like, oh shit, okay. And then they were like, you guys, to me,
go sit in,
and Adam's people, and they move us to the very front.
Yeah.
And I'm like, we fucking won, because they want to get our reaction for it. And I'm like, holy shit. And like, I'm telling his mom, and I'm telling Gabby, who's there with me, and they're like, no, don't get all. And I'm like, no, they get us here because they could film our reactions when he wins. And like, I kind of made buddies with the camera guy, and he just kind of looked at me and was like, and I was like, so I knew.
For our audio only listeners, Jason just nodded his head.
I just nodded my head, yeah. So I mean, he gave me that sort of like, yeah, you understand what's happening here, and I was just like, holy shit! And then they announced it, and it was just, it was. I had never felt such pride.
Pandemonium.
It was fucking crazy, and then whirlwind from there. Like so they shuttle us off. Like, we didn't get to hang out with him on stage or anything like that because he goes immediately to do press with Michael Bublé. And
they're taking pictures. They're
doing that.
Stuff.
So we go back to the hotel. He comes, and everybody is there. All the other contestants are there. So then we get to watch it aired for the West Coast feed because they aired it live on the East Coast, and then 2 hours later they air it. So we get to watch it with all the people he competed with.
Ooh.
For the West Coast.
That doesn't feel very nice.
Everybody was very supportive. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's a contest. You know how it is. And I'm sure it was bittersweet for a lot of people, but I think every single person who was a finalist there, and I think it would have gone to whoever won because it was just based on performance.
Yeah.
I told Adam, like, they made the right decision.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Like, nobody was salty to him or anything like that because these people spend a lot of time together. Because I mean, they
get to know each other.
Yeah, they spend a lot of time together. So it was very supportive, very heartwarming. Met a lot of really cool people, and Michael Bublé is what you see is what you get. Like, he is that person off camera. Like,
I don't know what he's like on camera.
Oh, okay, well, very, 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 very sweet, very just
good dude.
Good dude. Yeah. And like we've had, like, I've FaceTimed with him and Adam since, and he's been very supportive and just a cool guy.
Yeah. So that's awesome. I mean, there's big changes all around, right? I mean, you're getting married this year.
Yeah.
You're I'm officiating.
You are officiating.
Right? You know, you got your colors picked out.
Yeah.
You're managing Adam. We're really embarking on this whole elsewhere journey together.
Yeah. It's been so they take us from, he comes, we watch the finale, and then he gets a call and he was like, oh shit, we got to go straight to fucking Florida. So that they film in Universal in Hollywood.
Yes.
And then we have to fly directly over to Universal Florida because they have the opening of that Epic Universe, I think it's called.
Yeah.
So we got to go on the VIP night where it was just, and like, we're just sitting there chit-chatting and then finding out we're talking with like the head of DreamWorks and all this, and just, star-studded event. It was
the cast of Nintendo Voice Chat was there from IGN.
I bet they were.
Yeah,
yeah, it was pretty crazy. I only got to go on one ride though, because the Mario Kart ride, which was fun, but I wanted to go on like the Universal Monsters ride. Or
the Mario Kart ride is not a high thrills ride.
No,
from my understanding.
But it was Mario Kart was a huge part of my late teens, early 20s years. So it was pretty nostalgic and pretty immersive. Being there in the Mario world.
Yeah,
it was fun.
Yeah, I'm jealous. I want to go real bad.
We'll go.
Yeah. We'll go.
Work trip.
Work trip.
Wait, what do they call it? Team building.
Team building. Oh man. I think we've had plenty of team building.
We have had a lot of team building.
Yeah. I think you've seen me cry multiple times.
I've seen you cry a couple of times.
Yeah.
We've had some very good meetings at the event.
That was very powerful.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was again, right? Like, people who aren't immersed in this world, right? When they're given an opportunity, like, hey, you can share here in this space and it's safe, they take advantage of it.
Mm-hmm.
And they get real.
I'm also glad you got to see firsthand, because while building the Elsewhere program, I am extremely fucking nitpicky on a lot of things, just for the people that it's geared towards.
Yeah.
And people who don't live in that, don't understand, but it is a very inclusive
space.
It's not workspace. It's very, and not by like any sort of outward thing. Like, everybody's welcome.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's, you'll find anybody you want to meet there. But it's just, the music industry people are very, very particular and very kind of protected, and they protect each other.
Yeah.
And, there's a lot of verbiage. I'm like, no, we cannot use this. We have to be and I'm glad you got to see some of that, to where you were like.
Yeah, well, I mean, we're back and forth on like prayer and higher power and stuff, right? And it was very interesting to me because, like, people used whatever language they wanted to use during the meeting.
Yeah.
But at least one person was like, something that's always kept me away from AA is, all this God stuff. And she talked about like kind of being on a journey with it and maybe like softening to it a little bit, but like, you know, to her, like having the space be not necessarily like a God zone or whatever you want to call it, right?
Yeah.
Was super important. And she even said it in the meeting. And I was like, okay, maybe Jason had a point there.
Yeah.
You know?
But it's been a lot of fun, man. I'm glad to see it picking up some steam, and you know, I'm glad to have somebody else there to help me out and fill in some gaps, and you know, help me do some stuff. It's been cool.
You know, and I think we've expanded elsewhere a little bit beyond like the initial mission, right? The initial mission was just the music industry, which absolutely still part of the core values, right? But, you know, there's lots of people who live life on the road, you know, even you and me lately have been living life on the road, right? And so expanding that to like, hey, we can also support, you know, CEOs or anybody who really has like this traveling lifestyle where it's really hard to stay anchored and grounded because you're in a different city every other day.
And I love that it's like, you know, we had this sort of singular mission, but then it's been able to help other people, and it's been really good. And I'm excited to see what else can happen with it, because it seems like, you know, everybody who we've come across has gotten something out of it.
Yeah. 100%, you know, so we're doing that now, and then, you know, we're expanding this whole like corporate wellness thing to where we're hoping to do more and more of those services to have that impact like we had at Power, you know, and finding other companies that value that for their workforce, I think is really, really cool. Because again, it's this like unspoiled population, not unspoiled, but you know what I mean? Like it's a population that for the most part, like does not live in this world. Right, like no one they know burns incense, you know. No one. But you know, so that's really cool, you know. And then hopefully starting to do, you know, some more events and festivals and stuff like that to again meet people where they're at, right?
Yeah,
people who aren't necessarily looking for recovery or anything, but stumble upon us for the right reasons, and to be able to be there to, you know, support and give them some experiences and some knowledge it's
so exciting.
It's really cool.
It really is exciting.
It's really cool.
It's
well, I used to talk, like when I did business development, I used to talk about how, like, you know, I would go to all these addiction conferences, and it's like, everybody, you know, we're all just kind of standing around talking about the same thing, right? You know, and everybody in the room knows about, you know, AA and spirituality and NA and mindfulness and all these things, you know, but where I would really get a lot of excitement was like when I would go to like an attorney conference or like a drug court conference, and like people would be like, why are you here? You know, I'm like, well, let me tell you.
Yeah.
We weren't preaching to the choir anymore, you know, and that was always really cool for me. And it feels a lot like that again.
To bring it back to the Power thing again, I feel like, you know, it's a very cliquey organization too, because by design, because there's teams, you know, each region has its teams and sub teams within the region.
Yeah.
And, you know, now we're at our second event with them, and people are starting to recognize us. And, you know, people are just coming in to say what's up, and like, glad you guys are here. And, you know, we're not trying to sell them anything. We're not trying to do anything other than to help them out.
Yeah. I think it's nice for them too, right? Because like at a conference like that, right, everybody's got an agenda. Right? Whether you're there to learn, maybe you're trying to schmooze with the boss a little bit, make a good impression, you know, build up some professional relationships for whatever reason. And we're just there. You know, we're non-threatening.
We're just elsewhere.
We have no agenda. We're just here for you.
We're just elsewhere.
Yeah. Just trying to check the clock. I don't know.
What's the clock say?
The clock says 3:52. Yeah.
What else we got? Come on.
What else we got? I mean, we didn't really talk about the Dopey Wood thing that much. We were in LA for 3 or 4 days too.
Yeah, Dopey podcast. Yeah. Dave Mannheim him and I have become extremely close over the past, hasn't been a year yet. No. It's been close to a year, but
Dave, friend of the show, was a guest.
Guest on the show.
Was it this year?
Early
this year, yeah, maybe January, something like that.
So I was a fan of the show. I would just listen to the show. You know, I used to be a junkie with an angle. Now I'm not a junkie anymore. Yeah. So I heard him talking on one thing that one of his sponsors was dropping out.
Yeah.
And most of his sponsors are treatment facilities.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh shit, now's my time. And in my head, it's like this big, huge fucking organization because it's a very popular podcast.
Yeah. I mean, they get thousands and thousands of streams. On every
millions.
episode.
Yeah, they just had
millions.
Bobby Lee on. They had Jamie Lee Curtis on. They had some high end guests.
Yeah.
I'm not thinking I'm going to get through, but so I sent an email and the subject line is "Take my money" because I knew he'd answer that, and he did. And he called me like later that day, and we just started talking, and then Recovery Unplugged is now a sponsor of Dopey Podcast, and
proud to be a sponsor.
Of Dopey Podcast. We need you, Dave. And then I got to be a guest on his show, and then we just I went out to New York to be a guest on his show, and then we just became friends.
Does that mean you're a high-end guest?
No, I'm definitely. I didn't even make the bill, but he did give me a medallion on stage, which was cool because it was on my 9-year clean date, which I just celebrated, June 7th, and he gave me a medallion on stage, which was very cool.
Yeah, Jack Osbourne saw you pick up.
Jack Osbourne did. Rich Roll.
Yeah.
Margaret Cho and Bobby Lee would have had they made the show, but they didn't. But no, it was a lot of fun. It was, I'm enjoying being in LA as much as we have been.
Yeah.
I enjoy meeting some cool people out there. It's been great.
Yeah. I'm not sure LA's my scene yet.
No.
Yeah.
You're not digging the Air One smoothies?
I mean, I love a good smoothie.
Yeah.
You know what annoys me? The restaurants shutting down at like 10 o'clock. I'm like, what is that?
Yeah. Austin's restaurants close early too, though.
I mean, I guess I don't really go out late at night.
I guess you don't go out. Yeah.
No.
Yeah. Florida, South Florida places are open all the time because, you have liquor licenses that go super late. So the restaurants want to stay open to get that after bar crowd.
I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how LA grows on me,
Yeah. We'll have more opportunities.
I'm sure we'll end up
to get
out there again.
Yeah. I don't have any specific shows to plug yet for Adam, but we are building out because we have a lot of private events, a lot of corporate events right now, which is great. So I'm heading out with him on Saturday. We go out to Vail, Colorado. He's doing a private show out there in the mountains at a party, which should be fun.
You have a friend who runs a psilocybin retreat center out in Vail.
All right, more power to him. No interest. But yeah, so we get to do that, and then got some shows in New York, and then just a bunch of cool shit.
See, I feel like you'd be much more of a New York guy than an LA guy.
I love New York.
Yeah,
someone should put that on a T-shirt. I really do.
Yeah.
No, New York is great. I love the city. I love the energy of it. I started going to New York very young, and I remember my mom taking me. I was probably 4 years old because it was before we moved to Miami, and I just remember like thinking, I want to live here.
Yeah.
So I've always enjoyed movies, and I've always, even as a kid, like loved documentaries. One of the most impactful pieces of film I've ever come across, it's this documentary called Style Wars, and it's about the early breakdancing and
the
graffiti
B-boys
scene.
and all that. Yeah.
I think it came out in like 82 maybe, and just the opening of it like changed me. I think it was one of the first things that I had an interest in doing documentaries in, and it was very, very powerful. But yeah, New York City. I remember seeing like the vignettes that they would show on Sesame Street back in the day, and they'd show kids just wandering around New York City by themselves, and I was just like, oh yeah, that's so fucking cool. So, yeah, I love New York.
So here's another aside.
Okay,
so there's this show on Netflix. I forget what it's called, but it's basically like they send small children in Japan to go run errands.
Shogunai to you, baby. That's the song that they play.
Okay, but I mean, like they get like a 3-year-old, and be like, "You're gonna walk.
You're going to buy tofu
to the store. Here's $20, 20 yen, I guess, right? And you're gonna go buy some tofu and some flowers, and you're gonna come back." And then they just
that's fucking great.
Now, I did some research because I got really obsessed with this.
All the people are the camera people are
they're making sure the kid doesn't die.
The street. Yeah,
but still,
that's insane. And sometimes the kids are like crying and getting lost, and then they'll they'll buy like some noodles and just sit on the side of the road and eat their noodles. It's one of my my favorite watches of the last couple of years.
But like, it's wild to me because like, you know, Ella's school is a block and a half from the house. And she is not allowed by the school to walk to or from the school until she's in 2nd grade.
Okay, that's understandable.
But in Japan, you can send a 3-year-old to run an errand.
Yeah?
I don't know.
With the television crew.
Yeah.
Would you, how do you think? I think Ella would be okay if she went.
She'd be just fine.
Yeah, Ella's a smart
She'd be just
kid.
fine, yeah. I don't know if I would trust her on her bike.
Yeah.
Because she's good at the bike, but not perfect yet. I'd worry that she'd like fall.
Would you let her walk to school?
I would let her walk
by herself?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
It's a safe area too.
She knows the route.
Yeah.
Anyway, I mean, I guess that's about all our time today. I don't know.
Yeah.
How do we wrap this up when we're not doing rapid fire questions?
Yeah, we could just say, see you later.
Yeah. See you later.
See you next time.
Yeah. See you real soon.
There we go. Maybe we do a little song now instead of the little closing we used to do.
1,000 ways to 1,000 yards.
Yeah, maybe we do a song now.
Who's the leader of the club that's made for you and me? Oh, we're gonna get fucking copied.
TALKSI.
COLOGY. We're gonna get copyright infringement. So bad.
I think that was good.
That was all right. Yeah. All right. Thanks, y'all.